Do your display shelves feel unfinished? Then we should talk. I'm Doug Walker, and this is Roominess. Today we're going to talk about accessorizing closed-back shelves. If you have questions or thoughts that you'd like to share about accessorizing, leave them in the comments below. You can connect with me on the web, Instagram, and Twitter. You can also support Roominess on Patreon. And to get more bite-sized interior decor advice from my channel, hit the subscribe button. We talked before about accessorizing open shelves in a formal sort of way. Today we're going to focus on relaxed accessorizing on closed-back shelves. By closed back, I mean shelves with a back and sides, creating a cubby with each shelf. I had a wall unit of shelves and display space installed in my condo to deal with a lack of storage, so I've got plenty of example material. Before we start, there are two important questions that you need to ask about your shelves. First, are there any functional elements that you need to think about? Do you have DVDs that need to be stored near your DVD player? Do you want to have your reference books near to your computer? Or maybe your music books next to your piano? The second question is often skipped over. Are your shelves adjustable? If so, we're going to use that to your advantage. Recently, I rearranged this entire wall of shelves. I started by clearing the shelves off entirely, leaving only the functional elements that I wanted to keep in place. Next, I looked at the large-scale pieces I wanted to use. Specifically, I'm putting pictures at the back of my shelves. My personal taste is to have a lively, colorful arrangement with a lot of contrast. So I'm putting lighter, brighter pictures at the back so they pop out against the dark bookcase. They'll also give some contrast to my dark-colored art objects that will be lost in the dark background. With closed-back shelves, you have plenty of options to create visual interest at the back. You can paint the back a contrasting color. You can cover it in fabric or wallpaper or contact paper. What you choose depends on what you have to display on front. Next up is shelf positions. I didn't want to emphasize my electronics by accessorizing around them, so I shortened up the electronics shelf, creating a larger opening below where I could pull focus. I wanted to create two larger display spaces adjacent to each other. But since this is a more relaxed arrangement, I didn't want them to line up exactly. Several times I moved the shelves up and down, placed the pictures at the back, and then stood across the room to have a look. You might also adjust your shelves to more appropriately fit a book series all the same size if you don't want to have the vertical space above. So how do we start accessory placement? For a single shelf, a pleasing shape is often a hill or a valley, meaning the heights of the objects on the shelves generally create that kind of shape. You can also combine those shapes with one at the back and the other towards the front. With more shelves, it is typically desirable to skew those shapes one way or the other on each shelf. This creates a zigzag pattern of focal points up and down the shelves, as well as side to side. A little to the left. Back to the right. Ruined! It is also typically desirable for the peaks of those shapes to be close to the top of the shelf. Similar to filling the vertical space of our rooms, filling the vertical space of our shelves helps them appear finished. We'll get into the concepts of rhythm and harmony in a later video. For now, here are some practical tips. If you have an opening offset to the right on one shelf, try to have an opening offset to the left or to the center above or below it. Do the same thing with colorful accessories. Think of sprinkling them throughout the shelves. The same idea works for textures. Vary the placement of textured objects on the shelves to draw interest to several locations. Have a mix of two-dimensional elements, like pictures and book covers, and three-dimensional elements, boxes, bowls, and art pieces or sculptures. Don't forget that you can place artwork sideways on the sides of your shelves as well. If you have a picture where people are facing the left, place it on the right side of the shelf, so the people in the photo are looking into the shelf arrangement rather than away from it. In a relaxed arrangement, things are typically not lined up in even rows. If I have two identical pieces, I'll often place one on a book. The stair-step arrangement is less formal. Books give you a lot of visual options. You can line them up, turn them out, or stack them for visual variety. Your accessories do not need to stay at the back of your shelves. Just like your furniture, they can be floated out. Creating visual layers with your accessories makes your shelves much more interesting. What if it's not working out? If you watched my first video on shelf arranging, you saw that I don't necessarily get it right the first time. Be both patient with yourself and patient with the process. Ask yourself what's not working and try addressing that. You have to be willing to throw away what you've worked on already and start over. If one shelf is throwing off the overall zigzag pattern, you may need to mirror the contents of the entire shelf. You might need to shift all the contents of one shelf to a higher or lower shelf if it helps the overall flow. What if your functional storage is unattractive? You can turn something out in front of it, or you can consider attractive bins or baskets for your functional storage. The most important thing about shelf arranging is if it doesn't seem right the first time, keep working at it. I scheduled a whole weekend to redo this set of shelves. It took me about 8 hours total.
Yeah, we all have that kind of time.
If you'd like to hear more about interior decor, hit the subscribe button. Leave me your questions in the comments below. You can get on my email list at RoominessTV.com. Thanks for watching.